core for enlightenment ecosystem, making you all manifest the state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness and Kailas of Paramashiva, and making all of us manifest Paramashiva.
In a world ravaged
I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam.
Yes, we're back. In the next segment of this program, we are going to be understanding about the time and space continuum. Previously, Swamiji had expanded upon the Kala Tattva. What is the Kala Tattva and what is time? Now, the Supreme Founder of Hinduism, Swamiji, is going to be expanding on the topic of time and space continuum. Like previously, it has all come back to the space of listening, come back to a space of deep restful awareness, move from the space of hearing to listening, so that all the truths being delivered by the Supreme Founder of Hinduism can be imbibed into our being, can become a part of our very cognition. And that can happen only in the space of listening. So please sit straight, your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Close your eyes. And remember Swamiji in your third eye. Visualize Swamiji sitting there in your third eye as Paramashiva with the 25 heads and 50 hands. In this deep, restful space of awareness, let us now enter into the satsang.
Paramashiva's direct message from Kailasa. The dimension of Chidabhasa of the universe, where the activism of Chit and absolute pure existential reality of Chit. Listen, the activism of Chit, we call it as Shakti. Its pure existence of Chit is called Paramapurusha. These two together, in its pure being space and intense doing space, both together, is the dimension of Chidabhasa. That space of Chidabhasa is the source of all these 5 dimensions of the universe: length, breadth, depth, time, space. Because modern day scientists are trying to use 2 different words, time and space, I am also using the same way, but in reality, time and space is a single sheet. One edge is called time, another edge is called space. There is no watertight compartment or clear fourth wall built between these two. As I said, for some people, that same 100-meter cloth, 70 meter will be time, 30 will be space. For the 30 meter will be time and 70 meter will be space. That the time, space, both are same sheet. Imagine. I can even use the word sheath. Avarana. Sheath. Sheath is also apt word. Understand? Whether you know it or not, realize it or not, your thought current and your reality is not separated by any wall or any what you again and again persistently put in your space starts manifesting in your time. What you again and again and again practice in your time starts manifesting in your space. As I said, this time and space does not have a clear-cut border. For some people, in this time-space continuum, in the time-space dimension, if it's 100 meter, consider it as 100 meter long cloth. For some people, 70 meter is time and 30 meter is space. For some people, 30 meter is time, 70 meter is space. For some people, even only 2 meter is time and 98 meter is space. For some people, 98 meter is time and 2 meter is space. Listen. When the length dimension starts manifesting its possibilities in all its multiple level, it gives birth to breadth dimension. when the length dimension and breadth dimension both starts manifesting all its possibilities in multiple level, it gives birth to depth dimension. Length dimension, depth dimension, breadth dimension, all three starts giving birth to all the infinite dimensions of them in multiple levels, in all possibilities, spontaneously and simultaneously, they give birth to the dimension called time. When Paramashiva's direct message from Mahakailasa, listen. Chidambara, the arena of the cosmic dance, is living space. Understand? Modern day scientists, with their human mind, are able to understand about space only now, too little and too late. Understand? They are trying to understand space. Modern day scientists are trying to understand space. What they understood till now, too little and too late. Thousands of years before, Hindus had a clear understanding about what is space. Space is living existence, living entity. I should say closer to consciousness. Space is very closer to consciousness. I'll give you some of the important, powerful cognitions about space. Just if you internalize this, you can use the power of space in your day-to-day life in a very practical way, simple and very practical way. Space is a living entity. It's not emptiness, it's not dead, it is living. Second, it is very close to consciousness. Third, the space you are carrying inside you, where the thoughts manifest, is directly connected to the space where this universe is established. Chidakasa, your conscious inner space, is directly connected to Mahakasa, where this universe is established. The space where this universe is established is directly connected to the space, your inner space where you are established. It means you have absolute ability to influence, inspire, directly intervene with the outer space on which the world is established. Any mass has a power to influence the space. When you are able to influence space through which you can influence anything which is established in the space, and just by sheer power of thoughts, You can raise, lower your mass, through which you can influence the space, through which you can influence anything established in the space. Please understand. When you meditate on cognize something very heavy, higher than your brain can grasp, your space becomes powerful. That can influence the space outside. And anything established in the space outside. I'll repeat. Very recently, modern day scientists are trying to understand how to influence the space, how space can be manipulated to make our lives more comfortable and better. But thousands and thousands of years ago, Hindus had clear knowledge. This time-space balancing itself and the speed of the light is constant, and the continuum of time-space balancing itself almost like eternal. All these are known to Hindus long before, thousands and thousands of years before. I'll add some more truths. Thoughts can travel using space as medium. Anything which has a influence space, through that can influence anything established in the space. Let me be more clear and straight. Just through your thought, power of cognition, the power of your inner space, Chidambara, you can influence anything established in the space, whether sun or the moon or the universe or the black hole or the Big Bang, anything established in the space can be influenced through the power of your inner space. Contemplate on this. I have come down from Samadhi, brought these few important truths for all of you to chew, internalize this. Let's understand this concept, Kevala. Whenever you relate with the past connections, when you work with the past relationships, that time pulls you into that space because of the time-space continuum. See, a being which understands it is alone, Kevala, is a base material, raw material, where extraordinary powers, experiences, and enlightenment itself can flower. But once your inner space experiences the past times, naturally the time pulls you into the past space. Then for next 9 months, the possibility of enlightenment is postponed. The possibility of extraordinary experiences is postponed. Again, it takes 9 months for any human being to sink the idea, Kevala, I am alone. The first lesson kids should be taught in our schools is they are orphans. Understand? First lesson a child should learn is there is nobody. He came alone. He is responsible for his head and body being together. He is responsible for his hand hanging in his body. He is responsible for his leg connected to his body. Child should learn this lesson first. But normally it looks very cruel, brutal. Even the brahmacharini was shocked. She said, "What is this, Swamiji? It's too cold." I said, life is cold. Don't try to make it hot. Don't say it is cold. Use right word. It's cool. Child should know neither the father nor the mother or the relatives are going to be in his or her frequency. His or her frequency is going to be independently intelligent. Please understand, it is not going to be the extension of the parent's intelligence. God creates, never recreates. You are going to be independently intelligent. Unfortunately, this time-space continuum keeps you constantly as the extension of the elder's intelligence. I have seen this kind of mental setup, this kind of people. They will never be productive. They will be such a lazy people, even in their personal life. I am seeing all over the world this kind of, all kinds of specimens I am seeing. This kind of people, they will be such a lazy, such a unproductive people. They can't do anything else except criticizing. They live in Kali Yuga. They live in Kali Yuga. That's the worst state to be in. If you understand, still Dharma is alive. Still Dharma is prevalent. Still, that is the way the cosmos is functioning. Cosmos has not changed the way because the time has passed. No. When you understand that, suddenly you will see your inner space will become Satya Yuga. You will start attracting friends, things, everything of the same energy, same consciousness, same Satya Yuga space. The third technique, understand, first technique is Shakti to change whatever you can. Second is Buddhi to accept whatever you can't. Third, it's important thing, Yukti. Yukti means clarity. Clarity. How much you change or accept, this whole thing is a one more dream. Understand? The ultimate step in Vedanta, or I can say ultimate truth in a simple words. Whether you accept or change, how much you accept or how much you change, the whole thing is a changing dream. There is no scale. The whole thing is changing dream. Now I am putting the whole thing in one word. You don't need to struggle at all. This is I can say, ultimate truth. What we call Zen or Advaita. The ultimate truth. However you change, the whole thing is a constant changing dream. If you understand this truth, how much you change, the whole thing is constantly changing dream. Suddenly you will see you are unclutched. You have a tremendous relaxation inside you. People ask me, if everything is changing dream, then I can do whatever I want. Please understand. If you internalize the truth, everything is a changing dream, you will not be able to do whatever you want. You will do whatever cosmos wants you. You will not be able to do whatever you want, because the moment you understand this truth, the tremendous inner healing will start happening. The struggle or the suffering will come to an end. One glimpse, whatever is happening is a changing dream. It is constantly changing. Your ideas are changing. Your ideas about changing is changing. Your ideas about transformation is changing. Your ideas about problem is changing. The whole thing changes. For example, sometimes people come and ask me, Swamiji, 12 years before I started my spiritual practice, I thought all my struggles will end. But after 12 years, still I have struggles. Understand? You may have struggles, but not same struggles. The transformation in struggles means transformation in you has happened. 12 years before, you might have been fighting with something else. After 12 years, you might be fighting with something else. That when your opponent has changed, be very clear, you have changed. Your opponent cannot change without you changing. It means transformation has happened. Now your fight is happening in different level. In different level. Means the whole thing is changing. 12 years before, what was your desire? What was your fear? What you define as transformation? What you define as mukti? Even those things change. Your concept about liberation constantly changes. The more you expand, the idea also changes. I always tell people, enlightenment experience is ultimate, but not final. That's a big difference. Ultimate means all your ideas about enlightenment will disappear. All your ideas about body, mind, everything will disappear. That does not mean everything is over. It will be constantly exploding into a different space. This moment, you will think, oh God, this is the ultimate experience I can bear. Not more than this. But that does not mean it ends there. Every moment you will be having the same feeling. That is what I call enlightenment. It is a limitless continuum. Please understand. Limitless continuum. It will be exploding, but constantly. What you think as ultimate now will be happening in you. After a few minutes, what you think as ultimate now will be happening in you. What you think as ultimate in this moment will be happening. Limitless continuum. The continuously. The whole thing is changing. It means your idea about enlightenment, your idea about desire, your idea about greed, your idea about you, your idea about Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat. All the three will change. Constantly it will be changing. That is what I call enlightenment. Enlightenment is retirement. No. No, you have an idea. After enlightenment, I will do this. I will do that. People come and ask me, Swamiji, what should I plan to do after enlightenment? I tell them, that plan he will do. You can't do. As long as you are planning to do, you will never become enlightened. Enlightenment is the last decision you can make. After that, you can't make any decision. All decisions will be made by somebody else or something else. All decisions will be made by something else. Constantly we think we are an accident. Cosmos is torturing us. No. Cosmos is not sadist. God is not punishing you. People come and tell me, no, Swamiji, you don't know, God is punishing me. Please understand, God has not come to that level to punish you. And you are not raised to that level to be punished by God. You are also not that great to be punished by God. God has also not come down to that level to punish you. We go on abuse the Dharma. No, you don't know, it is Kali Yuga. Dharma will not be prevalent. This history says, that Purana says, that Bhagavata says, that Sutra says, it is Kali Yuga. Life will be like this only. No. Be very clear. There is no such thing as Kali Yuga. There is no such thing as Kali Yuga. I am responsible for what I am talking. I know the meaning of the words I am uttering. There is no such thing as Kali Yuga. It is our impatience to look into the truth. Is what we call or we claim, we come to the conclusion that it is Kali Yuga. Look little deep into the truth. You will see Dharma is prevalent. It is Satya Yuga. When you are superficial, when you don't look into the things, world is Kali Yuga. You are in Kali Yuga. You will attract only that kind of people around you. You will attract that kind of friends around you. You will attract that kind of relationships around you. You will attract that kind of situations around you. You will be living in Kali Yuga. Actually, in what conscious you are, you will attract only that kind of people around you. You will be in Kali Yuga. If you look little deep, if you have little patience to look into the reality, the truth, suddenly you will see the world is Satya Yuga. Still Krishna is playing. Still Rama is living. Still all the great masters are alive. It is Satya Yuga. Still Dharma is running. People ask me, what do you mean by this? So much of terrorism is going on, so much of poverty, so many war is going on. What do you mean by this? Still things are Satya Yuga. Understand, when Krishna was there was no war or what? When Rama was there was no poverty or what? No. Please understand. When Rama was there also, some part of the world, people were living in Kali Yuga. And even now, some people are living in Satya Yuga. So, Satya Yuga or Kali Yuga is not the chronological time. It is nowhere related to chronological time. It is individual's decision. If you want, now you can enter into Satya Yuga. If you decide, from today, I will have different consciousness, then naturally you will attract that kind of friends. You can see in your life. If you are continuously having self-pity, you will attract the relationship friends who will torture you. You will see. You will continuously attract people who will abuse you because you feel very comfortable with them. After 3 days, you forget that they abused you. You can again relate with them. You find out their cell phone number. You forget. Just 3 days before you have been abused. No, it's okay. But he is a good guy. In the heart, he is very good guy. I don't know what do they mean by this word. In the heart, he is very good. Even though he abused me, in the heart, he is very good. They have their own technical terms to justify what is going on. You attract abusive relationships, abusing people, everything around you, if you are in that mood. If you are in that consciousness. So please be very clear. The moment you start clearly understanding, the whole world is going as per Dharma. It is Satya Yuga. Suddenly, you will attract the people who are living in Satya Yuga. You will create that kind of friendship around you. You will create that kind of circle around you. Suddenly you see you are in Satya Yuga. To enter into Satya Yuga, all you need to do is, you don't need to create Satya Yuga. Just tune yourself to Satya Yuga, that's all. The 6 feet, whatever is inside your skin, make that as Satya Yuga. Suddenly you will see whatever is outside your skin also will become Satya Yuga. Nothing else need to be done. You don't need to make the whole world, you don't need to create stages in every city and go and talk about Satya Yuga. Let the whole world become should become Satya Yuga, then only then I will enter into Satya Yuga. No. No. Just change your inner space into Satya Yuga. Suddenly you will see, you will attract that kind of friends. Suddenly that kind of books will reach you. That kind of DVDs will reach you. That kind of websites will reach you. That kind of newspaper will reach you. That kind of things will reach you. All other things will become, you will lose interest. Suddenly you will lose interest in all other things. In my whole life, I never went to cinema theater even once. People ask me, I studied in college. I studied diploma. People ask me, even in college, how did you manage, Swamiji? I said, somehow, I never felt that was part of my life. I'm not an old person who lived 60 years ago, long before. I'm just 31. This generation. But that was never part of my life. People ask me, it is impossible. Without being influenced by cinema and TV, how can somebody be alive? I said, somehow, this is the way I am. They say, no, you are extraordinary, you are enlightened. Please understand, when you decorate the deity on your own, your intensity's ability to be continuity. Intensity is excitement in your inner space. Continuity is ability to keep that excitement as visualization, a reality. Please understand, these are some of the ultimate cosmic principles. I am sharing with you all from all the Hindu Tattva Darshanas. So listen carefully. This is the quote. Listen. Intensity is revelation or excitement experienced in your inner space. Continuity is ability to retain that excitement, revelation, intensity through visualization till it becomes reality in the physical manifestation is continuity. Understand? Doing puja, making garland for deity, doing decoration, all this creates an amazing fertile ground in your inner space. I tell you, I have done it in my life, multiple births. Life is not between one birth and one death. It's multiple births and deaths. I have births and deaths. That's why I'm telling you. Intense excitement when it is added with the creativity, especially the most superior creativity is Hindu Kriya. Kriyas of Hinduism is the most superior creativity. See my Gurukul kids. Just by decorating deities, they manifest powers. Because intensity of the inner world starts manifesting as continuity of the outer world. Listen. Intensity of the inner world starts manifesting as the continuity of the outer world just through decorating the deity. If you are a millionaire, want to become billionaire, I guarantee, start a temple, start spending at least half an hour to 1 hour physically working on the temple. Tie dhoti, sari, put jewels. Enjoy the creativity. Please understand, one of the greatest poverty the modern day man is facing is inability to retain a visualization continuously even for few minutes. Extreme mental breakdown. Don't try to tell me entertainment industry is full of creativity. No. Entertainment industry is full of copying, replicating, duplicating, not creativity. Creativity is less than 0.5%. Creativity, I am defining, creativity is ability to keep the inner space's excitement, inspiration through continuity till it becomes reality. I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om
Hello everyone, we're back beautifully in this previous set of satsang. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained about the time-space continuum and more on how the video we saw, the first video we saw about Kala Tattva, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism expands on the concept of time. In this series, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism expanded more on the concept of space and the time-space continuum. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, expanded that while the Puranas, the Sutras, and there are so many scriptural references which claim that we are in Kali Yuga right now, it is we who decide what yuga, what time, what space we live in. It is our inner space. What space we are living in our inner space that decides what yuga we are living in, what time we are living in. If we decide to be in Satya Yuga, if we ourselves are in Satya Yuga and align everything within our body frame to be in the Satya Yuga, then our external world will reflect and change and become Satya Yuga. We start attracting people who are also living in Satya Yuga. But if we are living in Kali Yuga, in confusion, in delusion, in unconsciousness, then that is the kind of people, kind of community we are going to attract towards ourselves. Beautifully, Swamiji explained that time and space are not two separate things. One contributes to the other, and they are a byproduct of each other's existence. When you are in a space of deeper awareness, space of the higher and higher time zones, that is the reality you are in, that is the reality you start living in, you start manifesting. In the next series and set of satsangs, we're going to be watching the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism decoding exactly what is time and how we can liberate ourselves from the societal conditionings and societal understandings of time which have been put into us from our young age. Swamiji also explained how it is our space which decides the reality we are going to be living. Time and space are not two separate entities, two separate functions. Both are intertwined and work together. So now, let us enter into the next series, next segment of today's program, which is understanding and decoding.
Nithyanandeshwara Samarambam Nithyanandeshwari Madhyamam Asmadacharya Parayantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. Conquering time. First, few basic understandings, few basic truths. Please understand, every sacred secret, every sacred truth I am uttering, every word need to be internalized, and internalized. Do not sit with the intellectual tiredness. Usually people have this pattern. Tell us finally what we should do. No, things don't work like that. Please understand. Every word I am uttering matters. I'll give you a small example from my own life. One of my guru, Annamalai Swamigal, in course of conversation he told me that we are not the body, we are beyond pain and suffering. When I was sitting alone and contemplating about it, we are not the body, we are beyond pain and suffering. What does he mean by it? I actually experimented. I took a knife and cut my thigh to see whether we have pain or not. Of course, I had pain and I was taken to hospital and stitches were done and all that has happened. But I could not think what my guru uttered is lie. I was continuously contemplating. I had a yoga guru. He was also a Paramahamsa. One day he explained, he usually comes to the house where I was born and brought up. He will come home early morning, 4 o'clock, and drag me out of the bed and take me to the temple and teach yoga. I was a kid. Sometimes the moment I am out of bed, he will make me drink coffee so that I will not go back to bed. One day he was telling, see, before coffee how you feel that you want to lie down and nothing other than sleep matters. Just a cup of coffee, you are ready to listen to me, and suddenly I became more important, yoga becomes more important. All the ideas that you should do yoga makes more sense. Without a cup of coffee, all the ideas you should sleep makes more sense. Just with a cup of coffee, all the ideas you should do yoga and take care of your health, build your body so you can get enlightened. All these ideas make sense. He made a very important statement which I want to translate in English for all of you. He said, the physiological, psychological, neurological effect on you is not you. Please understand. One guru made a statement, you are not the body. The other guru made a statement, the physiological, psychological, neurological effects happening on you is not you. How many of you click with that second statement? Actually, both statements finally mean the same, but the second statement suddenly made so much sense to me. Yes. Please understand. Because I could see my seeking is not just equivalent to a cup of coffee. But a cup of coffee can make such big impact. It can just drive away the sleep. make the whole yoga happen in me with enthusiasm, excitement. So when I was analyzing, cup of coffee cannot be equivalent to my seeking. Or equivalent to me. Understand? The idea he conveyed to me, my yoga guru, is whether you have the feeling sleeping is more important, that is my first priority, I don't care about anything else, or you feel no, after a cup of coffee, the thought current, no, I have to be doing, this has to be done for my enlightenment, for my growth. Whether you have this thought current before cup of coffee or thought current after cup of coffee, both thought currents does not, both thought currents are not you, both thought currents are empowered by you, not you. That is what the master, the first guru means, Annamalai Swamigal means, you are not the body, you are not the mind. When Annamalai Swamigal told me, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are beyond pain and suffering, the statement did not make sense for me. But when explained, physiological, psychological happenings are not you. It really made sense. Understand? Throughout this program, every statement I make is going to directly work on your inner space, which is required for me to transmit this experience to you. Actually, when I had the click, oh, psychological, physiological, neurological effects happening on me is not me, I tell you. From the next day, I didn't need coffee to wake me up. The understanding, physiological, psychological effects happening on me is not me, liberated me. Not only from coffee, after that never ever I understand something called low mood or depression or not feeling well or stressed. I tell you, all these words are really strange. Still I am not able to comprehend those words. When people come and tell me, I really feel bad for them, but I feel, oh God, I'm not able to grasp what they mean by this word. All those words have no meaning in my life because it was such a clear understanding. Now sit to grasp those understandings. If you are sitting with the idea, all these are okay, Swamiji, you tell me finally what I should do, I will do that. That is intellectual tiredness. Please understand. Egg, if it is broken from outside by force, a life ends. If it is broken from inside, a life starts. If you sit with intellectual tiredness, you finally tell me what I should do. Even if I tell you finally what you should do, if you do, it will be like a breaking the egg from outside. Even if I transmit experience to you, you won't retain it. When I transmit and you don't retain, it is called Satori. When I transmit and you retain, it is called Samadhi. Annamalai Swamigal, what he tried to transmit, what my yoga guru transmitted, Yogananda Puri, both are actually one and the same. The first transmission may be my intellectual tiredness. It was only a Satori, it never becomes Samadhi in me. But the second, when Yogananda Puri explained, maybe it clicked with me. It becomes Samadhi, a permanent experience. After that, never ever I had a respect for any of the physiological, psychological happening in my system. And no physiological, psychological happening could have any say on my system. Please be in the space of internalizing every truth I am going to share with you. So, it becomes Samadhi in you. The permanent transformation in you. It becomes eternal understanding in you. We are going to have a special meditation process end of the sessions today and tomorrow. But that does not mean that is the essence of the session. Now you don't need to be receiving. Every word I am uttering is a process. Please understand, because the subject is so subtle. Subject is so subtle. See, when my first guru told me, you are not the body, you are beyond pain and suffering. It is truth, but it is too to grasp. It's too physical. But when my yoga guru told me, experientially, which he was able to convey into my listening, the psychological, physiological, neurological effects are happenings in you is not you. Not only it clicked with me, it brought tremendous liberation. What my first guru, the Annamalai Swamigal, was trying to make in me, the yoga guru made it because he spoke into my listening. Now, every statement I am going to utter I want to speak into your listening. I will also take the responsibility of making it as clear as possible. And I also request you to be intensely listening without this intellectual tiredness, thinking, end of the day there is going to be a meditation process and Swamiji will do whatever need to be done. I just need to tolerate this to have that process. Please do not have that, because every word I am uttering matters. Come to the space of listening. The first statement I am making, please listen. The first statement I am making: time is a matter. Second statement: it is not absolute as you think. Please understand. Now I will make these statements into your experience. These two are the Mahavagyas now. When you perceive this world through this body, you can never doubt the authenticity of this body or the authority of this body. But when you are perceiving the dream world through the dream body, this body does not have authority over you. Please understand. When you are perceiving dreams, this body does not have authority over you. Same way, when you are perceiving this world through this body, the dream body does not have authority over you. When you understand there is a body which has authority over you at some time, does not have authority over you in some other time, you can understand this body also has authority over you sometime, does not have a right over you in some other time. Listen. As long as you perceive this world through this body, you think this has authority over you. You can't understand a space without this body. Same way, because you are constantly perceiving the world, because you are constantly perceiving your reality through time, you think time is absolute and it is truth, just like how you feel your body is truth. Listen. I'll repeat the essence. When you perceive this world through this body, you take this body as authority. Sometimes you question this reality, but not this body. When you are so busy in doing business with currency, you forget to question the authority of the currency. That itself is a myth. When you are doing business using diamonds, you forget to question the authority of the diamond. You are so busy in giving 100, taking 50, giving 200, taking 400. You forget the diamond itself is not something precious, or it does not have an authority other than created demand. Please understand. I am not questioning, I am not saying business. All I am trying to stand the stupidity, you can play with it beautifully. The moment I understood, it clicked with my system, that physiological, psychological effects on me is not me. So much liberation. Such liberation. Such a beautiful space. It was such an absolute ecstasy. Knowing even that ecstasy is not me. When you know even the joy happening in you is not you, the joy stays with you permanently. All joys disappear the moment you try to grab them. The first truth, time is a matter. And it does not matter. Time is a matter and it does not matter. You can manipulate it as you can manipulate your body. Understand? You can make your body big or small with certain practices, diet control. You can manipulate it. You can play with it. Same way, you can play with time. You can play with time. How? We will see next. But some of the basic truths, you can play with it. I'll try to share with you all a conversation I had with Arunagiri Yogeshwara. It's too personal and intimate, but I think I have to share so that you will understand the concept of time as Mahadeva explains in Agamas. One day I was sitting and talking to him. I was just so much in love, awed by his presence. It will always be for spending time I will be talking. There is nothing serious about what I am talking to him. That is why how much ever I try, I am not able to recount or recall everything I heard from him. Very less only I am able to recall, because all the time I was only awed and just I want to spend time with him. That was the purpose. So talking is only secondary. I was talking so that he will not get up and go. To make him sit, I have to talk. Listen carefully. The conversation was about time and space. He was trying to explain time and space to me. It is time you understand every statement, so that it becomes just part of you. You also need to know the value of one single truth hitting you properly. Please understand, it was just one single truth. My understanding about, just a cup of coffee, only that much is the gap between me and my seeking. It was such revelation. The laziness and powerlessness and the powerfulness of coffee. I understood very clearly, both are not me. I am something beyond this too. Just that one understanding liberated me forever from all the physiological and psychological ups and downs. Never ever I had any respect for the physiological, psychological ups and downs in my system. And you don't know what great liberation it can be. So please understand. Now, even understandings can liberate you from many patterns you are having, and with understanding, if I lead you into the process, the experience I transmit will become Samadhi in you, means permanent. Without you understanding or without you developing the right context, also I can put you in experience. That will be by force, it will only be Satori, you won't be able to retain that. So allow every statement to work on you, because even I am feeling, I am explaining something very subtle. It's almost like I am not playing with Saraswati, I am playing with Saraswati's Veena. Listen to this conversation I had with Arunagiri Yogeshwara, because this is going to give you a very important click understanding about time. The discussion was about time and space. I was asking him, some questions about Kala Bhairava. That is the way the conversation started, and he was trying to explain the time, the effect of time on our system and our understanding. grasp everything immediately. So the conversation boiled down to, he was trying to explain to me, time is just your mental experience, mental perception. It can be imploded or exploded. Listen, it can be imploded or exploded as you want. So naturally it was too much for me. Then he touched something in my very personal life and explained. Of course, it is a very intimate conversation, but I'll share it with you all because it will do good to all of you. I had the problem of bedwetting as a child. So, when I was talking to him, it was around maybe I was 11. At that time, I used to have that problem of bedwetting. He just picked up my hand with a lot of care. He was trying to guide me, asking, when you have a bedwetting, what goes on in your dream state and deep sleep state? I slowly described, I contemplated and described. I used to feel first my bladder is full. Then I'll feel in the dream that I am in a restroom and I should relieve myself. And then in next few minutes, I'll only feel my bed is wet. I explained the step by step. He said, exactly, this is time. Please listen. It was such powerful click for me. I'll tell you exactly what he said. He said, how the moment your bladder is full, your brain can create the restroom which is not there and give you the comfortable feeling you are protected, safe, you are in a proper place, please relieve yourself. Only after that signal goes to the body, the internal organs decide to relieve and relieves itself. The pressure inside you to perceive something, to have some experience, creates the concept of time and gives you various experiences. Pressure inside you, that bladder is full, creates the restroom ambience in your brain, which is actually not there, but gives you a comfortable feeling, you can relieve yourself. Same way, desire to have certain experiences, that pressure inside you creates time which is not there and gives you various experiences. I'll try to convey much deeper the same truth further. Now you understand this much. The whole idea of time is your will and decision. I can give you 100 examples. When you are sitting with somebody whom you like or doing something which you like, your passion, you don't know how the time passes. Time gives you a different experience about you, about life, about world. But when you are sitting with somebody whom you don't like, or when you are doing something about which you are forced, time gives you different experience about yourself, world and life. This one small example I have seen in my own life. Morning 5 o'clock, early morning 5 o'clock to night 11 o'clock, I'll be sitting with Arunagiri Yogeshwara. I don't know how the sun rises and sun sets, but at night, few hours when I need to be in the house, away from him, I'll move the clock 10 times, thinking that it is not moving, it has stopped. I'll feel why the nights are so long. Time is slow when you wait. Time is fast when you are late. Time is deadly when you are sad. Time is short when you are happy. Time is endless when you are in pain. Time is long when you feel bored. Every time is determined by your feelings and psychological conditions, not by clocks. So learn to have nice time always. Whatever now I am sharing, most of you may know that ideas, nothing new. But I am trying to set the context so that I can lead you into the deeper understanding, especially the experience to make these understandings permanent. Time is a matter it does not matter. It can be manipulated as you want. You can play with it as you want. One more understanding I received from Arunagiri Yogeshwara about time. Listen carefully. The whole life is just vast canvas. Space is the canvas. Imagine 200-mile length canvas, which lot of paintings there. The paintings which you already perceived is called past. The painting you are perceiving is present. The painting perceived is future. But the truth is all three exist. All three exist. Next statement I am making. Please listen. First statement I am making. Past, present, future, all three exist. And the next statement I am making, you can alter all the three. We always think, if all three already exist, how can I alter my future? If it is already existing, how can I alter? Understand? The painting exists does not mean you can't add something to it. Your powerlessness, I can't add something to it, only makes you stop adding. And very important statement I am making now. Not only you can alter the future, you can alter your past. How? We will make. You can alter your past. You may think, this is too much. How? We will see after. You clear experiential understanding about these 4-5 statements I made. During this meal break, go on, chew these statements along with your food. 1, time is a matter, it does not matter. 2nd, your psychological ups and downs, physiological ups and downs are not you. Next, your past, present, future exists now. Next, it exists now does not mean you are bound by it. You can alter not only your future, even your past. Let's gather for next session. Thank you. Be blissful.
Sorry for the technical glitch. Beautifully in this webinar, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained the science of time and exactly what is time. Swamiji gave a beautiful example. For our whole life, our whole reality is just a long canvas. Time is the painting, is the drawing which is happening on the canvas. Everything which we are perceiving, all our experiences, everything which we are seeing, what we claim as the reality which is happening around us, all of it is nothing but time, nothing but matter, which is created by us, can also be destroyed by us, and can be manipulated and transformed into any other form of matter, into any way we want it to be. Beautifully, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism also gave multiple examples from his own life and the direct truths and revelations and teachings Swamiji himself received from Arunagiri Yogeshwara about time. Time is a subjective reality. It does not exist as objective for everyone. When we are happy, time is short. When we are in sorrow and pain, time never seems to end. When you understand these fundamental cognitions and fundamental truths which Swamiji revealed about time, then you'll simply know how to use time to manifest what you want in your reality, what you want to manifest in your life. Attending the Paramashivam program will help you and bless you. Swamiji will bless you with the power, intelligence, and the knowledge and experience to make as one of the toolkits to manifest whatever you want in your life. So, without further ado, please go ahead and the QR code and the link to the Paramashivam registration website is being projected below. The program which Paramashivam can offer you, what it can provide to you, what it can contribute to your life is invaluable. No matter how much ever we talk about it, the benefits and the different things which you will be learning in the program, it will not equate to the experience which you will receive from the Supreme Bond of Hinduism during the program. So without further ado, please go ahead and take the next couple of minutes to register yourself for the Paramashivam program. And with this, we're going to be entering the next segment of today's program, followed by the Bhava Samadhi Darshan of the Supreme Pandav of Hinduism in the Virabhadra Bhava Samadhi Darshan. So with this, we are now going to go for a break and join later in the next session. Thank you, Nithyananda.
Whatever I shared till now, condensing the whole thing and reviving it as experience, starting from completion, unclutching, power manifestation, the states of consciousness and the planes, multiple planes, everything. Anything present prove you are not is illegitimate. Decide this. This is super determinism. Understand? Anything you declare as illegitimate will lose power over you, will die in minutes, maybe in few weeks, whatever few days it takes. It will not have power over you. Understand? This is the method for sudden enlightenment. This is the method for sudden enlightenment. It happens by the Shaktipada. Here Paramashiva is sitting to tell you all, you are Paramashiva, you are me, with Shaktipada and Shaktinipada.
The Dvitiya Vijnasa Krama is an extensive and thorough yoga sequence to prepare your body to receive the experience being given by the Supreme Pandav of Hinduism. Through the yoga, which is aligned as per the source scriptures laid down by Paramashiva and the Agamas,
Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtam Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tatvavasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadguruntam Namami. Nithyanandam. I welcome all the viewers and participants over 175 countries joining with us for the Bhava Samadhi Darshan of the Samhara Murthis of 64 manifestations of Paramashiva manifesting through the Nijavatara, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. And we are going to be having yet another exciting segment today with amazing guest speakers who are here to share their life journey. And their life journeys are something so much profound. We can see the impact of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's teachings, his initiations and blessings, how it can influence in the individual level and in the community level. And today's segment is going to be about women empowerment. Yes. So you may think, yes, I've heard this before. I think I have heard a lot of shows about women empowerment. Yes, you may have heard about it. But today's segment is going to cover and unleash some of the very interesting facts on how Hindu feminism is far more advanced and powerful, and how Swamiji has empowered and taken this aspect of Hindu feminism and advanced so many milestones of Kailasa forward over the last 30 years. So, coming back to the state of affairs today, women has been a long-standing backbone of the entire society. But if you take the women in the current society today, there is a lot of inequality, oppression, gender justice, and also sexual violence and physical violence that has been encountered by women. Almost, we can say, 1 in every 3 women has encountered this sort of oppression and gender violence every day. So, though we may feel that, okay, I am in 2023, so many things are advanced, and people are progressive, and that's what you would expect it to. But yet, if you see the stark reality, 1 in every 3 women experience physical and sexual violence either in their home, in their families, or in their workplace, or how they are treated in the society. So this is the stark reality that we are in today. And what are the solutions that we have got in hand? So Hinduism is the most progressive, and Karma has solutions for every single world problem today. And Kailasa, with an active global presence in more than 175 countries, is one of the largest knowledge source on Hinduism, where so much of knowledge repositories and so much of solutions that Hinduism has got to the world, Kailasa is able to retrieve and package it and present it in a user-friendly manner. So the issue that we're talking about today is about the gender violence and inequality and oppression that the women are facing today. Kailasa has time-tested solutions just by empowering women with the right understanding of feminism. Kailasa has given a huge breakthrough in this subject. And that is definitely a testimony. If you talk to any Kailasian who's a woman, you can see the confidence that she radiates. You can see the context that she holds. It's mainly because the way the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, has enhanced and empowered the right knowledge about Hinduism and feminism. If you take today's feminism, most of it is all about competing with the other gender. It is never complementary, or it is never making femininity as something unique and something contributing and something extremely advanced. Just with the power of femininity in each of us, whether it is a man or a female, everybody has got that component of feminine consciousness. With the completion of that feminine consciousness, man attains his highest possibility. Giving that right perspective of what is femininity and how it is unique, and how by awakening this component in each of us, it can lead to ultimate enlightenment. This perspective is definitely not there. It's definitely not taught in today's feminism. And that is exactly how Swamiji has enabled and empowered all the women in Kailasa and the Hindu women today to attain their peak possibilities in life. And in Hinduism, Swamiji beautifully shares that feminism is not about conquering men. It is about strengthening the whole universe. In Hinduism, feminism is not about fighting with men or conquering men or fighting for an equal status as men. I'm sure so many of you can connect to this very interesting statement that Swamiji has given, because that is exactly how people feels about feminism, right? If you connect with any of the feminism debates or any of the feminists or activists, mostly the whole subject is around conquering men or competing with men. It is never about empowering the whole universe. And what Swamiji shares is women has their own unique place. We call women as of Parashakti, and all the women around the world, empower yourself with the spiritual strength and realize your uniqueness and contribute to the world. So, the right introduction, giving the right introduction to you, literally gives the very genesis of your identity. It empowers you with the right genesis of the identity. It empowers you to define who you are. And from that space, any action, any reaction that's happening, it all lands in auspiciousness. And we'll take a look at a small video where Swamiji defines Hindu feminism.
Today is also the International Women's Day. United Nations has given a theme for 2021 International Women's Day, Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in COVID-19 World. My message on this International Women's Day, understand, Hindu tradition empowers women. In Hinduism, feminism is not conquering men, it is strengthening the whole universe. In Hinduism, feminism is not all about fighting with men or conquering men or not even equivalent to men. Women have their own unique place. We call women as Shakti. Parashakti. Manifestations of Parashakti. Understand? All the women all over the world, empower yourself with a spiritual strength. Realize your uniqueness and contribute to the world. That is my message on this International Women's Day. My blessings and support for all of you to achieve everything best in this universe, including enlightenment.
Great. You can see the way Swamiji has defined Hindu feminism. I'm sure just hearing to those words, it is simply energizing us with life positivity, and it really feels that a world can literally live this truth and end all the crimes against women. Please imagine, one in every third woman is actually experiencing sexual violence. It is something so terrible. And today we have speakers across the globe and who are here to share their first-hand experience of all of these crimes against women, but how she is able to evolve herself into leadership positions today and how she's able to empower and enrich the society today. So we will be having Ma Priya Prema and Ma Susan Davidson from Slovenia and Canada, respectively. who will be joining us in this show today. And it's going to be an amazing journey that they are going to share with all of us. And there are so much to learn and so much to feel inspired on just understanding how Swamiji is enriching and empowering each and every being. And, as Swamiji has always shared, the whole Kailasa is built not by numbers. It is built as simple hard work. Each and every being is empowered by Swamiji, one being at a time, one person at a time. That's exactly how Swamiji has built this Kailasa, and that is what you'll be realizing just hearing to these amazing testimonials and journey of how Swamiji transformed their lives. So now we have Ma Priya Prema from Slovenia, who's here to share her journey. So Ma Priya Prema, before we get into the details, would like to invite you for the show, and such a pleasure to have you in the show today. And we'd like to share about your past. I mean, before coming to Kailasa, what were you doing, and what were your ideas about feminism, or what were your ideas about how a woman should hold herself before you met Swamiji?
Yes, Nithyananda, thank you for inviting me, Pranapriya. Thank you so much. And first, before I start, let me first bow down in gratitude to my beloved Guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, His Divine Holiness, Nithyananda Paramashivam, for molding me into what I am today. So, my journey as a woman, I never experienced what does it mean to feel powerful. From the moment I was born on, I felt I have to compete for my father's love. That was my core incompletion. And I felt I'm not lovable. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. So when I was 3 or 4 years old, I experienced sexual abuse. It was from our family friends at the time. And that was the experience that basically, as a female and as a child at that time. So even though I suppressed it, later on, of course, when I started completing, I realized how much I have suppressed it. Because when I remember the incident, I felt that it could not be true. To that level, I have suppressed it because I didn't want to accept that this was happening to me. And even though I suppressed it, from that point on, I had trouble identifying myself with my feminine side. Mm-hmm. So I felt that was my fault, right? I was supposed to prevent this from happening somehow. I didn't felt that was the fault of the abusers. I felt that was my own fault. I should prevent it. And basically the only thing that was keeping me as a feminine afloat, my feminine side afloat at that point, was art. I remember when I was 9, I wrote my first poetry book, and I started sculpting and painting. So that was my expression at that time, how I was able myself in this, my feminine side alive, even though it was shattered. But over time, when I started, going to the primary school, that side of me was challenged and abused. I experienced a lot of bullying at school, and I realized at that point that I have to pretend to not be what I am. I have to be something else in order to cater to the needs of the society. I'm not accepted as I am. So, if I am emotional, when I express my emotions, I'm not accepted. If I express myself as emotional, when I write poetry, if I express myself in that way, I'm not accepted. I'm being bullied for that. So my cognition at that point was, I need to hide my femininity. I had to, hide this part of me. And instead, I began developing more my masculine side. I started feeling I have to protect myself. And at that time also I learned that in order to prove myself, I have to compete with others. So by the time I was 11 years old, I developed psychology disturbances, and I fell into depression. Simply, I had episodes where I didn't want to engage with life anymore. It was just to that level that I didn't felt anymore that creation in me was turned off. So the only solution, of course, at that time the medical system knew was medication, right? So that is even today we see how they solve this kind of situations. Just 11 years old, they put me on medication. They said, no, this is, some psychology disturbances, so we have to heal it and so on. So the side effects of that made me feel even more powerless. So it didn't heal the root cause of it. So at the age of 15, when I was 15, my father died. And then, of course, everything collapsed for me even further, because when my father died, the part of me feeling I have still the hope that, I will be able to get attention from him, the hope that I will be able to be enough to reach so high that he will be able to love me and accept me. That was, of course, my cognition at that time. I felt when he died that was over. No more chance for that. So then opportunity presented itself. We were, my mother and I, at that point, were in a really tough financial situation. So when I was 15 years old, I started working, and a person approached me and basically offered me to enter into the entertainment industry. And after some struggles with myself, whether to do it or not, I decided to do it. And when I look back now, it is basically how I figured that society will accept me. If I have the position in the society, if I have the fame, if I have that, then I will be finally accepted, right? But I ceased to live what I enjoyed. I ceased to write. I didn't create anymore, because when I was creating, whether poems or paintings, I felt alive. I felt more complete, because I was getting in touch with my feminine side. But when I started entering into the entertainment industry, it was just the opposite, which is quite interesting, right? Because as a female in this industry, you are presenting yourself. You should be presenting yourself very feminine, but the femininity that they are expecting you to show, it is not the powerfulness of a female, right? Of a woman. It is basically just catering to some needs of the certain project that you are doing. So as a model and actress, I was having external success, yes, but inside I was broken. I was shattered, empty. There was nothing there, no sign of powerfulness. So constantly, day in and day out, I was trading my inauthenticity for attention. That was the bargain, right? I got attention, which I was always thirsty for. So there was never enough, because the root of it was different. So even after some years, when I started working on television and, I became the journalist, they didn't change, because in this world, we would say, okay, this is up the ladder, right? It's a higher position. But that didn't change my inner space. I was still feeling powerless. I was still feeling I'm not good enough, because that didn't empower me. My identity as a woman by then was already shattered. So that position, or no other position, could empower me. So when I was 19 years old, I decided to get married. And then I also decided to leave the industry and I opened my own company. So I become entrepreneur. And at that point, I didn't know anything about that, right? But I just felt that, now that I get married, I should be more stable. I should, become basically go out of this environment. So because I was a owner of a company, I had the position of a leader, but I didn't have the state of a leader. And at that time, I felt that this was one and the same. Of course, before I met Swamiji, that was one and the same for me. So because my sacred femininity was suppressed, I was not creating. Even though I had the company, I was working, all of that, but that was not creation. It was not that real creation from the power within. I was, everything that I was doing, everything that I started had a fragrance of destruction, the fragrance of failure, because that was how I experienced myself. So basically in this industry, exchanging powerlessness for powerlessness is what it is all about. Because the woman on one side exchanges her powerfulness for the attention that she craves, and the man in turn exchanges his powerfulness for the position that he craves. So both end up robbed and exploited in the process and start competing with one another for the power, right? Instead of uniting. So that inner space that I had led me to a marriage that was abusive, because through the whole span of life, it was never about having a quality relationship. It was about me getting the confirmation that I am loved, that I am protected. So because that I was so desperate to get that, I ignored the warning signs, everything, and I allowed myself to be beaten and abused every single day of my marriage. And I remember myself at that time saying, not only thinking, also saying out loud, that God has abandoned me, that God does not enter into that house, because I felt like I'm not deserving anymore of God. Even though as a girl, I every day I prayed without any words, because but every day I prayed to God and said, please show yourself to me, please come to me. That was my prayer every night. But after I got married, I simply ceased to believe that. I believe that I'm not worthy of that anymore. So after 4 years of the marriage, I finally left my husband. And even though I have left, I have come back several times because of my insecurities. So I left, yes, but what I was inside, the powerlessness, the insecurity was still there. So I came back many times. Then I finally left and got divorced. Because while I was coming back, I didn't think I deserved better. I felt I was not entitled to a better life. So after some years, I had some very severe car accident where I miraculously survived. And after that, I simply felt that, God was with me at that time, because I should have died in that car, but I didn't. I survived. So I started thinking, okay, so maybe, just maybe, God is still here for me. So he didn't abandon me. So I started seeking. I started feeling I have to get back to what I was. I have to somehow whole thing that happened in between. So in order to heal, it was a long process. And in order to heal, I started writing a book. I didn't even think of it as a book at that time. It was just, notes, basically. It helped me because that was what I was doing my whole life. Writing, that was my big love. So that was my way of healing and of expressing. And then when I started, somehow I started interacting with in groups, when I was visiting these groups for abused women and all of that, I started understanding that what I have to say matters. So my story, my experience matters because not all the women will abandon that marriage. Not all the women will get rid of it, right? Maybe they will remain in the marriage because of the kids or whatever it is, right? I didn't have kids. So for me, it might be easier, right? Or not, whatever. But women, a lot of the time, stay in the marriage, whether it is for children or for some other reason. And I understood from, the women that I was speaking with that I should, if I have that courage, I should speak openly about my experience. Because the notes that I made was very raw. That was a very raw expression. I didn't alter it at all. I shared everything. All the dirty details, I would say, of, from how I was bleeding, how everything was there. So I decided at that time, when I was listening to these women, I said, okay, so if I don't do it, if I don't say, then who will do it? Because in Slovenia, there was no manual, or there was no experience, direct experience of a woman who survived something like this. So I decided for me to go ahead with it. I decided to expose myself, and because of my exposure in media before, naturally that means also that I will be exposed media-wise. So I accepted that also, but I felt that was more important than anything else. So the book came out and became the manual for the abused women, and I was basically very honored that I was able to contribute something to the lives of any woman who goes through the same thing. So in this process of healing and raising myself, I might have been trying different spiritual techniques to empower me, but inside, even when I was writing this book, I was still a shattered little child who deeply believed that failure is what is destined for. So when I look back now at the book, right, when I'm reading now my book back, I see that was still the space. Now, from this space now, of course, I will write it differently. I would have taken the responsibility, even in the writing, for what I have decided to experience at that point. So it was, yes, Ma, sorry.
Sorry, Ma'am Prema, I just wanted to make a note here. See, typically, somebody who has gone through such hardship right from young age, and then taking up a bold profession like modeling, out of the incompletion that, I need to really empower my masculine side, and then going through this very tough married life, and then saying that, okay, let me discover myself, and putting that story out so that brings the awareness. This is probably one of the typical scenarios of how a modern feminist or feminine activist women activists would approach the situation. But what is the important aspect that you're bringing here today is, though you are doing all these things, though the things that you are doing is right, but it is all coming from the broken space where you still don't believe in yourself, but you have to put up with space, to keep you going as a mechanism, as a defense mechanism. But it is really Swamiji's teachings and all the initiations that is actually repairing the true being. When the whole repair mechanism is happening from inside, from within, then you really discover yourself, right? The real alchemy, the process of realizing the divine within, the real alchemy happens in a much more powerful way, which is what today's women require, isn't it?
Yes, Ma. See, it wasn't until I attended Paramashivam level 2 at that time. It was the beginning of the COVID, epidemic, that for the first time I realized, or I encountered myself with real feminism. That was the first time I even realized what it was, right? Because when you speak about feminism here and there, it's completely different, right? And I was simply mesmerized by how with each word Swamiji was cherishing the Divine Mother. And I was reminded at that point of my true identity. I realized how much I have lost in all of this time. So the more I started living in the ecosystem of Kailasa, of course, all the initiations, satsangs, of course, the yoga, everything. The more I started living in ecosystem, the more I felt empowered. The restlessness that I felt inside just disappeared because I did not have to search my power outside anymore. It was just sitting in my inner space, right? Waiting for me to be awakened. So that was one breakthrough. And I still remember, the moments in this program where simply everything shattered. And I remember when I applied for the program, even before that, I was already connected with Swamiji, but I was just listening to satsangs, right? And Kalpataru program I did. But I remember still, I just woke up and I still remember the email that I got. And there it was in bold letters, Swamiji's quote: "Once the program ends, you will not be there anymore. Only Paramashiva will be there." And I remember myself saying, that is what I want. I don't want to be what I am now. That is not what I want. That I don't feel connected to that. This is what I want. And Swamiji delivered that 100%, 1000%, more than that. So later on, when I became I became involved with, started volunteering for Kailasa, and later on, I got the blessing to become the coordinator for my country. That was the point where all the insecurities came out also, because the space of a leader was different from the position. That was the click that I still didn't got at that time. But through all the churning that Swamiji was doing, pulling everything out, but in the same time, so beautifully, exchanging the all that it was churning out with the leadership space. So I started at that point when I worked, when I worked and volunteered, and I started doing his work. I started to realize the value of one woman empowering the other instead of competing with one another, right? Because that is the world that I was coming from, competing with each other. So the ecosystem of Kailasa made me fall completely in love with my own femininity and rediscover it, because I didn't realize what it was before. And of course, heal from all the times where I allowed myself to be exploited. So before, I can say that I was chasing confirmation from outside through position, fame, right? Relationships. But no matter what heights I reached as a career woman, I was not able to be satisfied because my broken self was, still there intact. There was never satisfying enough. And even though I experienced all the extremes in life, whether it was, when my father died, me and my mother, went through the extreme poverty of being without electricity, water, all of that, and going to the heights of being a sales director of a big company and, having a luxurious life, tasting it. But all of these heights today, when I look, neither of that impresses me now. Nothing is important because I'm not mesmerized by the world in whatever shape it presents itself, whether it is low or high, it doesn't matter. But what I am utterly mesmerized by is by the love and compassion that Swamiji has showered me with, that I am utterly mesmerized with. And today, I know, of course, now it's different, but now I'm realizing, today I'm realizing how he guided my whole path, how even when I was not realizing everything, whatever I have experienced in my life has been a preparation for what I am today, for being here, sitting with you today. That was all a preparation. So when I realized that everything completed from the past, everything collapsed, I ceased to be a victim. I was not recognizing myself as a victim anymore. It became a celebration. Even, when I look back now at my ex-husband and all, the experiences that I had, even before that, I see it all as a lila, as a celebration, because it was all part of me being here. So, when I realized that, it just, the integrity and the stability and chastity that Swamiji awakened in me, it what became my power. That is my power today. So this is what I identify myself as a feminine, right? The stability to stand by what I have decided for, no matter what happens, no matter any external situation. And the integrity to do it constantly, to not, waver in whatever direction. So because I wanted that space to be transferred to others, I decided to take a patsanyas because I felt that that is really the ultimate way how I can, empower other women so that they can get this space also, so they can reawaken this power within also. And not only that Swamiji liberated me from all, thyroid disease, heart disease, depression, anxiety, all the heavy medication that I was taking for 7 years, but ultimately he gave me a new life. He gave me liberation from all my limited cognitions that I had about myself, from all the fake shyness that I have put on myself, or arrogance, inauthenticity. And he raised me to the space of a leader just by, I would say it's not just, right? But by awakening the divine feminine aspect in me. That was the most, powerful thing. And when I look back now at my life, how it was, just maybe if I just look back 3 years from here or 4 years, into the past, it just, there is no expression of gratitude that could match that. Whatever I say today, whatever I do today, even if, I don't know, it's just no expression of gratitude is enough. And there is no better way of giving back. Of course, I will never be able to give back. That is a fact. But the best way that I can contribute is by empowering other women and making them part of the Kailasa ecosystem. That has become my mission from Paramashivam level 2 on. It has become my mission. It has become the reason why I live. So, because I strongly believe that only through the reviving and remembering the Vedic feminism, we can bring justice to what humanity has lost by suppressing the cosmic mother, in each woman. So because it is not just that is not only a problem. We say feminism also, that is only for females. No, that is a problem for all the humanity, because all the wars that we're watching today, everything, if we just take the example of the Ukraine war, right? If a man leader has at home a chaste, powerful woman who is supportive, it's simply the man will learn from her how to be a good leader, how to be a compassionate leader, how to create and not destruct, how to not play power games, but instead create a better future for his people. So here we are seeing this example. If real Hindu feminism is awakened again in women, then also all the men will be awakened to a better leadership or whatever they're doing in their lives. I'm really...
Priya, I just wanted to jump in and add here. Firstly, we'd like to say that it is an incredible journey, what you're saying. Somebody who has gone through so much of baggage in the past, and that is something not very easy to let go of, to how Swamiji has made you feel that you have to enrich, you have to share the science with thousands of people. So you can see the amount of passion that you're having in terms of revival of this entire culture and the whole wing of Kailasa. I think one of the things that you also mentioned about the various initiatives of Kailasa and how literally it helped you towards manifesting what you want in life. So one thing, especially for all the indigenous women out there, Kailasa promises a true quality of education. Every single person who is born, they have right to know that right to utilize service, which is here in this case it is TTS. So